be that for Sockeye, Matt Rader is out. So he is injured. They're looking to keep him healthy for the season, so he will not be playing in this final. I think something having to do with his knee, unfortunately. So that is a significant personnel change on the Sockeye offense that really didn't see any personnel changes throughout this tournament. Really highly consistent. And yeah, so gonna be interesting to see what each of these teams' defenses are able to throw. And again, I think a game where individual breaks and break possession for the defense once they get a turn is going to be crucial.
Yeah, and I'm really looking at these flags out here in this wind. There's a kind of a swirling wind going around on the field. So I'm waiting to see how that plays a factor into this game, especially with throws. But yeah, like I said, finally able to see this matchup. These both teams, really prolific offenses, and I'm excited to get underway here. So we're about to have the opening pull here from Machine.
Yeah, we heard from both players and then seen on the film as well. Wind was definitely a factor in the semis, creating kind of an upwind, downwind effect. It is coming at a bit more of an angle. See if we can maybe get a little weather feature here in a couple of minutes from our media team. But again, gusting, not consistent, and so will be something that both teams will need to take into account.
See Sockey's O-line just patiently awaiting the opening pull.
Let's see if we can look at the previous Sockeye lines just to see who they might be pulling in as a potential. Can you replace Matt Rader? But looking at that personnel. So the Simon, Freechild, Dillon, kind of what you're expecting there. But again, teams choosing to start the upwind battle early on. So again, as soon as you can get that turnaround, one team getting a break, that's going to be a significant shift in the game and tempo. Big slicing pull from Machine. And do you think it's to Machine's advantage that they just played on this field?
Maybe a little bit, but as well, it's not like Sockeye didn't have a very spirited and competitive game against Sub-Zero. So they're looking like they're ready and fresh. You see Montague here with the disc on the sideline, in some trouble. Weaves it down the sideline. They're working it. Now is Sockeye. And a bid.
Trent Dillon with the save.
There by Dillon.
So Sockeye doing a really good job of working so smooth across both sides of the field. So really working the sideline and then cutting across, using some anticipation throws and precision throws in this upwind.
So first score there of the U.S. Open final going to Magheck, and Sockeye 1-0.
Sub-10 throws. That's what you want to see for an upwind point.
It seemed very, just like you said, just chilly there from the offense, just moving it down the field with purpose.
And for those who might be noticing, typically there is kind of a dark white or play, but instead Sockeye here in this minty green jersey that they are sporting today. But as we're looking, so camera's not on Chicago, but they will put Joe White, Pavel Giannis, Keegan North, starting Victor Luo, and Jeff Weiss gets the nod as well. And then number 19, Paul Arders, saw a lot of good play and at least 2 scores, crucial scores in the second half from Paul.
So let's see what this O-line of Machine can do here against this D-line of Sockeye.
Whew, really seen some gorgeous pulls from these teams.
Foster, known as
That's a brave catch.
One of the best pullers in the country, so. Series of fakes there from Giannis.
Yeah, Pavel Giannis not biting on the deep look from Joe White, but instead finding him on the under.
Into Arders. Arders will uncork and send one deep, and just missing that layout bid.
Wonderful, get a replay. Again, hard when we don't have a camera on that opposite sideline, but I think he actually closed the distance, and that was playable, if definitely not easy. A little bit too much heat on that. Again, adjusting not quite as much wind as there was just an hour ago.
Yeah, Howe just barely missing that one. So now the O-line having to play defense. And that one is shot deep.
Shot.
It's up in the air.
But Arders comes down with it.
Making another big play is Paul Arders.
And if you've got Freechild versus Arders, I'm putting it out to space, putting it on a line. You really want Freechild just in that linear speed race. That's going to play to his strengths. But again, maybe too much consideration going to the fact that they think it's downwind, so they're wanting to put some touch and not throw it at the back.
Giannis will send one.
Uncorking.
Oh, just missing in the hands of Joe White.
And no contact called there. It looked like there didn't quite get his legs underneath him to attack that.
So just back and forth on the deep shots. Not able to capitalize here so far. So again, here's Sockeye's D-line.
Getting a second chance. And again, if they can get this early break, that'll be a significant momentum changer here early on in this half.
So there's Foster still moving the disc over the Russell.
A lot of communication, and you can see some very practiced movement from the Seattle handle set of clearing out and making space for their fill cutters.
Inside to Snell.
Really calm offense from this Seattle defense.
The machine is really trying to make Sockeye look off all those first initial looks. And a turn as Arders steps in the fray. And now they're working Joe White, streaking downfield, and he will score to equalize us at one apiece.
In stride. Think we'll be seeing a little bit more of Joe White this game?
100%, that's just the beginning. But once again, Arders on the play, making a big D for his team.
So already a bit of a difference. We're seeing Joe White attacking more downfield and less behind the disc. What do you think of Sockeye's decision to not play zone, not camp someone out in that deep space?
I think they just trust their man defense, and right there, that was just a quick turn, and Machine able to utilize that open space, and send it early. But I'm going to continue to work with what I got if I'm Sockeye. I mean, it's gotten me here so far.
This is true.
So one apiece is the score currently. And get another look here at the Seattle Sockeyes O-line.
And we'll see if the wind does pick up. Again, pretty gusty right now, not very consistent. See if that becomes more of a factor if teams do shift back to more of that zone look that we've seen so much of today. Sockeye not really looking like they're hurting without Matt Rader, but again, knowing that's in their arsenal. A lot of interesting individual matchups, just so much athleticism on both teams here.
It's a good stop.
Again, these pulls just going deep into the end zone.
Another break side throw there. It's completely working it down.
Sockeye doing a really good job of attacking the deep space, creating those holes to then fill for these just continued beautifully timed undercuts.
Yeah, a lot of motion here in this offense. A nice reset. I love the way the disc is moving and just a quick turn, unforced.
Props also to the camera crew that are getting us a lot of this angle of downfield so we can see what's going on.
And then got it back there was Phil Murray.
Very quick. Unfortunate, not the same stability of offense that we saw from the D-line for Chicago last game. So let's see if they can't. Will that be called a stroke? I think they're saying D is good. Turn will stay. They'll probably tap it live.
Artemakis able to make a play on that disc, and he won the call, so we'll be going the other way to Machine.
Yeah, Eli Artemakis, also another former YCC player, very athletic, high threshold, and someone his teammates are excited to have on their roster this year.
very low throw, dug up there.
Now by Alex Evangelides there. He's had a couple of those nice saves. Able to get, he's got a big body, but able to get under the disc and get low.
Clean up those throws a little bit more if you're a Machine.
A little bit of chaos behind the disc right now. Not quite the same smooth movement, but into the red zone, attacking, looking to get around, and will they? Not quite the go-ahead throws, just shy. Good defense from Sockeye in that cone. And just as I say that, yep. So very good job of Machine of attacking that corner and then completely committing and clearing out, making it available.
As Artemak is able to get the bookends right there, and 2-1 Machine the score early on.
So we're still early game here, though we've already seen a lot of ultimate. Any trends that you're seeing developing? Was this the matchup you expected?
I think so far in this one I'm seeing a lot of, I guess, throws that normally are completed to success, but wind come into factor, maybe a little late on the release, and so it's changing the flight path. So allowing the defensive players to kind of step in the fray and get those Ds. But so far this is exactly the contest we expected, back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something we've talked about again are some of the weather factors, both the weekend overall. Something that's interesting and potentially a little bit of concern is that though the field has dried up at this point, or you're not really getting a wet disc, what you do have are some pretty significant divots on the field. Again, you'll see bare areas of ground. Some of those are a change of a couple inches, where actually both the observers and the players have experienced uneven footing that can be a little dangerous and maybe pull their attention from what they're doing.
Another deep pull. Centered there to Montague. Hecht.
Big gainer through the middle. Again, Sockeye being very, very patient, picking their spaces, creating a lot of space, and then attacking in those one-on-one matchups.
Stopping the around Machine, but Sockeye just taking their spots right now. And the Trent Dillon.
And so Machine back into this almost zony look where they are just sitting Peter Graffey over the top, taking away any quick defensive deep looks that Sockeye may want to attack. But what that is doing is it's opening up a lot of space underneath. And there it went. Graffey got pulled under.
Great throw there by Freechild to free up the space there for Nick Stewart.
So and as soon as Graffey gets pulled out of that deep space, Sockeye immediately attacks. Yeah. Great recognition of the change in the defense.
Freechild had that green light and just ripped a backhand that was very favorable. Thought it might have a chance to go off the back, but that's an excellent touch.
Beautiful placement. Yeah, and you can see the disc tracking across the field, that little bit of edge. Wind is still pushing it over. So well placed.
Couple steps there to the end. So just like that, it's an equalized game. We're knotted up at 2 apiece. Is this a situation for Sockeye where they might go into a zone, Kelsey?
I mean, you've declared their man is entirely sufficient.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it. Again, that's Machine was able to keep them very well contained. I haven't been able to see a lot of Sockeye zone. I know they have it in their arsenal. Most teams, though, are not going to run any kind of traditional, oh, that's a travel. Come on, sweetheart. But not going to do, your high school 3-man cup. They're going to play looser, allowing each individual to take up as much space as possible, and really play less as that type individual unit. Joe White streaking deep.
Hutter sending one deep, but just tailing out of his reach. I could not run that one down.
Yeah. Joe White again gives himself those kind of 2 hand claps of frustration, and then he's back in a defensive mode. Yeah, not obviously has scored already, but not quite the timing and threat that he wants to be. Multiple attacks deep, still someone way deep.
Another
Defense
deep
didn't
throw.
adjust.
Breaking free there was Kolzak.
Yep, Pavlianis and Keegan North adjusting, but the one man did go to the corner.
And a nice scuba to Birdsong for the score as Sockeye retakes the lead.
So again, when you've got the matchups, when you've got the one-on-one, you're able to play that tight man. The wind isn't that much of a factor. I think I'm with your initial observation of you play the man. You run them hard, and it pushes the cadence of the game and really makes the scoring faster overall. And again, I think if you trust your one-on-one matchups and the opportunities they're able to create, if you're Sockeye, you use your depth. I mean, they brought a full roster here to this tournament.
We do have a large team out there, and that's something they're trying to kind of feed off that energy there from their sideline as well, and kind of amp up the guys on the line.
Yep, and I'll say this for Sockeye, they have one of the most disciplined and strategically placed sidelines that you will see out here at this tournament. If you'll notice, they are always placing themselves where the disc is going to be. So here as Sockeye is about to pull, they are already down on the second half on both sides of the sideline, ready to communicate on to their players on the field. So again, very disciplined, very conscious strategy.
Another deep pull by Foster. Giannis.
Again, I want that ticker of how many fakes has Giannis thrown throughout the game. Someone get that ticker for me.
Giannis, a nice flick foreside. Working the disc around now is Machine.
And something of a regional skill set and preference is the communication to the downfield players through fakes. Definitely something that's come into much more prominence here in the last, I would say, 5 to 8 years in competitive ultimate, and something you will see heavily in this north central region. Again, that communication through fakes of telling your player to, it's kind of an efficiency saving of hold up their cut, change their cut, because where they're going is not where you were going to throw to them. And a very athletic save there by Trent Dillon to not run through Bo as he was catching the disc.
See Arter's the assist, and how the score to even us up at 3.
And that's something I have really enjoyed from both of these teams is while there has been a lot of physical play, I think a very minimum of dangerous play. Which when you get to this level of athleticism, that's exactly how it should be. Of getting when you have this level of athleticism, this level of decision making, always being able to choose to make the safe play and not truck your fellow player. Did I mention I'm a big fan?
Yeah, like I said, this is a very high level of ultimate being played right now, and we'll definitely see both teams step up to the challenge, and it's neck and neck right now in this matchup.
Yeah, something that I love when you're playing at this level is the number of these players that also end up coaching. And so hopefully, again, being able to pass on spirit of the game, being able to pass on body awareness and decision-making and communication to your teammates. You know, hopefully some of the best features of this high level of play being passed down to the next generation. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's the plan. So let's see the Sockeye offense operate once again.
A lot of unchallenged yards here, going cross field with the blade.
It will stay in bounds.
And again, Sockeye really moving unchallenged from sideline to sideline. Waiting for Machine to clamp here.
Nice give and go, reset. Now free child in the middle, and they're just carving it up. And a tip, a deflection.
Oh.
trying to pull up right there.
No contest there.
And a score.
Yep. Vaughn pursuing the play, then realizing he couldn't reach it, and at that point his weight so far committed. But good spirit from Chen. And I think Vaughn did try to slow himself down as much as possible, minimize that impact.
Good job there by D.Y. Chen to stay with that one as it was in the air.
On that replay, yeah. A little bit of a hug there from Vaughn at the end.
He was trying to slow up. And
yeah, just way too far committed, nothing to do. But yeah, really wanting to see some adjustments from Chicago here. They've, again, got a good defense. We've seen it work against other teams, but not doing enough to slow down the Sockeye offense. Sockeye offense just moving like clockwork, getting everything they want when they want it. It does look like a timeout will be called.
I think it's a heat advisory timeout.
Yep, that's our 4.
So they'll take a little breather, get some water, get ready for that new line.
And honestly, couldn't be at a better time for Chicago. This is a really good time for them to, discuss, maybe retool their defense just a little bit. And again, I think the foundation of what Machine does works so well, but not quite finding enough pressure.
And we'll take.
So getting a little bit of feedback from our media. I don't think that we're going to be switching over cameras to the opposite side, but definitely looking at some of the highlights so far in this game. Again, the big early play from Joe White, though he was overshot 2 other occasions. So again,
We'll be back shortly.
What would it look like if a competitive sport didn't mean a choice? Between beauty and brutality, style and steel. Between calling yourself out and clawing to stay in. What if there was a game that found balance? Between spirit and sport, agony and elation, like a disc dancing on air.
We now have evolved into a team sport of a game called Ultimate. It stands by itself.
As we are back here.
apologies for the bit of glitch and fallout of miscommunication. Are looking to get that communication kind of ironed out between us and our media team as we're switching back and forth on some of these timeouts. But back at it with Machine and Sockeye in the finals.
Machine looking to even it up. Doing a good job of opening up the field.
And at this point, do you think the play that we're seeing on the field really reflects the score? I'm feeling like Sockeye is in much more control than the score actually represents.
Giannis there, I agree wholeheartedly. And I think Machine is knocking on that doorstep, but Sockeye seems to be in a little bit more of control. Arders.
Yeah, very good movement there from Giannis, Arders, and Joe White. Really letting the rest of their players just stay out of the space until they got the position they wanted, and then firing it in to Jack Shanahan.
Shanahan just perfect timing on the
Jinx.
cut. Yep, perfect timing there on the cut, teeing us up at 4-piece, and that was just honestly great movement for Machine, working it around and using the full width of the field.
Yeah, definitely the best their offense has looked to date. So see if the defensive line can build off of that. But a little bit more of the confidence and kind of swagger that we expect from the Machine O-line.
That was Jack Shanahan in the end zone for the Machine.
So what do you want to see here from Machine's defense to kind of slow down this prolific Seattle offense?
Yeah, so I think really what I'm missing from their defense up to this point is that heads-up clamp in the middle of the field. That it really feels like Sockeye has had too many options, had whatever they want. Not in the handle set even, but once they get to that second, that they're able to just move straight through the middle, where Machine typically doesn't allow anything to get through. And so again, I don't know if that's slight adjustments to the positioning, if that's maybe just a little bit different communication. But Sockeye almost working some very acute angles of throws, much shallower, but again, hitting the full width of the field. Just changing so quickly that the defense is having a hard time tracking down. Graffy with a near miss there on defense.
Couple of fakes there from Bryce Dixon. Still looking for some open cutters down. Undercuts. Freechild thought about rearing back. I think Dylan went on a deep cut.
And releasing Freechild downfield pretty frequently, letting him use his legs to open up some space.
See Montague with the disc.
And you'll see players like Montague and like Freechild communicating to other players saying, hey, that space is yours, you attack, I'll stay out of it.
Yeah, there's just nothing downfield right now for Sockeye. Still looking to get some holes.
Yeah, much more of a traditional true, little bit more honest man defense from Machine, but again, looking to always be heads up, always be, if I remember correctly, Chicago calls it being kind of on the hunt. Well, no, that's Madison. But again, that mentality of just always seeking to involve yourself in the play, regardless of whether it is your offensive player. Precision shot to Dylan there in the corner.
Waits to toe the line. Dylan Freechild to give Sockeye back the lead, 5-4. And he was tiptoeing that sideline there on the score.
Better pressure overall from Machine, so definitely a step in the right direction. But Sockeye's offense will not be denied.
Yeah. So you take a second look at that one right now, and it was just great working around on the disc, and a nice eye put there from Mac Hackton. Freechild just able to toe that line.
Low release, putting it just far enough outside that Eli Artmakis could not make a play. And I do think that's maybe why Graffy was taking away the inside, because he had Eli in that outside space, didn't expect the throw to go off.
Exactly.
So still in an upwind-ish battle for the offenses.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to see that decisive moment from one of these D-lines that really opens up this game.
Yeah, like we saw in the semis.
Exactly, and it's just back and forth here in this final.
Yeah, when you, again, have this much talented personnel, this much consistency, sometimes all it takes is that one well-executed opportunity to open things up.
She needing a reset over the top there to Arters. They thought about going deep there to Joe White. He's going to make a lengthy undercut. And a pick was called. That's why he's so far away from his man.
So interestingly enough, again, Joe White back almost in this handle set. Ooh.
That's a nice fake to open up the mark, and that one will be
Keegan
sent
North
deep.
that takes the look, and Weiss is there.
That is a beautiful throw in stride there to Weiss. Put us back even at 5 apiece.
Yeah, Keegan North, no hesitation on that. Instantly looked, I think, expecting Weiss to go, knowing your teammates. Well before the defense could set. Nice touch out into space. Definitely enough power to fight any wind that he might have been going up against. Yeah, saw Weiss going. There it is.
And that's
Enough
just
time to cloud catch it there.
Yeah, that's just a lot of knowing your personnel and knowing your teammates as well. And I think that's a great point. Doing an excellent job. So what kind of adjustment? Here, defense. I mean, it's been back and forth. Both the O lines are looking phenomenal. The D lines still waiting to make,
Yeah, still in the hunt. And again, I think it is just slowing up Sockeye, making them take their second or third choice, not their first. Because when they're taking their first choice consecutively, their timing is so smooth and so aggressive. Again, that cadence of play, when they are able to set the pace, you're on your heels the whole time as defense.
And Trent, excuse me. Gonna look off Trent down, now go into him.
And interestingly enough, as someone who's kind of sat behind their lines when they're calling, they are very precise as an offense in calling their first couple of cuts, not just their first one or two, but their first maybe 5 or 6 combinations. Very studied, high IQ offense.
See a reset there in the middle to Phil Murray.
Pretty around flick to Dylan.
Free child looking for Dylan.
No one's there.
Just a little too far on that around flick.
Off to the races. Will they slow it down or keep attacking?
Reset.
Pretty inside shot there.
We see Tim Schock.
Ooh, I like that.
That's a deep look right there. Gaining some yardage.
We continue the high release.
Lefty. Ooh, just missing it. Schock laying out for the bid, but it's going to be a turn.
Oh,
just rushed it a little bit there at the end.
Oh, and you hate that. That was such a good sequence. But you're exactly right. Just a little too eager. Went with the high release, which has been a good choice. But again, in that corner, pinned down, the wind's working against you.
Montague will rear back and wide open.
Early shot.
There's Mac Hecht. Some give and goes. And right back in for the score is Phil Murray.
And
6'5", Sockeye.
That is just deadly. When you were one throw away from scoring, the early throw goes up, and you're just on your heels as a defense. You saw them never able to stop the flow.
Yeah, that's a backbreaker there for Machine's D-line. Very close to punching it in and getting a break and going up.
That, again, might be one of those really shifts, pivotal moments in the game where they had that opportunity to go up that all-important break and weren't able to lock it in.
Yeah, just so close. See a big shot there for Montague.
Yeah. So, again, this is an opportunity mentally for Machine's D-line of do they take that as a, hey, we got it, we were right there, we can do it again? Or is it, frustration, head down? What's their body language going into this? A lot of hard effort from this Machine defense, and they're seeing some results.
Yeah, it's just that next step for them, and it's capitalizing on those turns. They've shown they're able to do it. Just got to follow through and complete all the hard work. Pole set deep and caught. Now center to Giannis. Shanahan. Now Shanahan looks up to Joe White. Still working around. A nice fake there on the sideline.
And if you'll see it in a little bit of the background, definitely some.
Giannis breaking free. Woo! And will punch it in. There for Machine. Quick work.
And I was going to say a bit of an uptick in wind, some strong gusts coming through there. Machine playing through like it didn't even matter.
That was a quick Lapa, and just like you said, under 10 throws there for Machine, able to equalize us at 6 apiece.
Yep, which again, for that upwind, just decisive, taking what they wanted, good flow. A lot of same thirds there. Again, Sockeye not really taking away what looked to be that force side. So the Sockeye offense back out again.
It looks like the same O-line there for Sockeye.
So you've heard a lot of my opinions on their defense, and again, opportunity to see some of similar play in the ADL and here again for this club team. Obviously, little different perspective. You have more of, I think, well-rounded sports background perhaps than I do. What are you seeing that maybe I'm not?
From Machine's defense? I think they're doing a great job of putting pressure. They're not really giving up anything, in my opinion. I just think the offense of Sockeye is executing well.
Taking.
Yeah, and taking and taking what they're given. But at the same time, I think it's just a matter, like you said, they were on the doorstep. They just got to capitalize and finish that off. And another deep shot put up, and by his lonesome there is D.Y. Chen, and will punch it in to Phil Murray. And that time, there was a miscommunication in the backfield because Chen was wide open.
Yeah, Chen, and he had two players moving with him. So again, Sockeye, really good presence of when they're on the attack, everyone's attacking.
See a second look at that one, and just a huge backhand by Nick Stewart, a pretty one to Chen.
Yep, and there I almost want to see the defender immediately peel off. Yep.
Just the defender right there went on the wrong side of Chen.
Yep. Eli checking, but not looking at, that force side, and there again. Yeah, just lots of options. And very much what I've heard from the coach of the Machine of looking to have lots of pressure points, take lots of things away, really minimize the options. But again, the Sockeye's offensive strength is everything's an option. Everything's an attack point. You can't, let off the throttle at all because they are never going to.
Yeah, if one team really wants to get an advantage in this one, it's going to come down to defense. I know both offenses have been clicking on all cylinders, but if one team could get a break here, that could be the difference maker in this final outcome of this game.
Yeah, point for half here, so real opportunity.
Another deep pull by Christian Foster.
Caught by Nico Lake and centered up for a little bit of a yards game to Giannis.
It's like a pick called down the field.
Oh, and Weiss was moving. He was ready to go.
By R's body language, he wanted to send it.
Yeah, he was out, didn't have a mark.
21.
But Weiss will take the big gainer instead. Joe White attacking, both defenders peeling off and opening up the big for North, and North looks to White, and there it is.
That's exactly what you want there for Machine's offense. Just back and forth here with Sockeye, and like you said, we're going to be calling Joe White's name a lot more, and there he is right there for Machine.
And that was a really strategic use, too, of White as a player. Again, him attacking that space, having Jeff Weiss there as well, but again, attacking deep and then peeling under and allowing for your teammate to then go once the defense is committed. So just really keeping the defense reacting to you instead of being able to take things away.
And yeah, and Joe White, he's a Swiss Army knife for this team. I mean, he's been able to stay under and get the resets as a handler, able to cut deep, stretch. I mean, very versatile for this Machine team.
And someone who has battled through a series of injuries, had what some people jokingly referred to as a splinter, but rather significant cut to a hand, and has finally good, as I told him earlier today, really good to see him back in cleats. He's been unable to take the field for several months now. So a player that you really want to see on the field.
Yeah, he's definitely left an impact and left a stamp on this game so far in this final.
And finding some good chemistry there with North. Again, the timing of that sequence, very well done.
So Sockeye calling a timeout there.
Bit of a huddle on the sideline too. You can see their defensive line really looking to be on the same page and get the purpose, knowing that, as you were saying, it really is up to them in a lot of ways. They can trust their offense to get the score. So now what do they need to do? Because as much as we've talked a lot about the machine defense and what do they need, what does the Sockeye defense need? They haven't been able to take it away yet.
Well, if I'm them, I'm going to keep relying on our offense to score, try to take us into half here. But defensively speaking, I think they just need to maybe switch up a couple looks, give the offense a different variation of looks, maybe catch them off guard, because that could cause a quick turn, give the momentum in their way.
Yeah, machine offense looking very comfortable right now. I mean, I do think we called that correctly. Big engine offenses going into this game.
That's just a little too strong there on the pull. Montague.
And Walden Haywood Nelson was streaking down the field, so ready for that first throw. But again, the pull a little too deep.
To the brick will go Simon Montague. And in this kind of situation also, I would not be surprised if they look to immediately shoot it deep. Freechild on the disc.
And Freechild, frankly, much more likely to take that deep look from a backhand position.
Dylan.
Good pressure from Chicago here. Really clamped on the sideline. And the hammer.
Over the top to Freechild.
Ooh, that's a risky.
A high release backhand that ended up being really bladey. Dylan, an inside throw. Now Stewart tried the around backhand. Still moving it up is Sockeye. A cheeky left-handed throw by Dylan to Montague to take us to half, 8-7.
Yeah, his big body right there in the end zone. There's not much you can do to get in the way of that.
And I mean, just so much creativity here from the Sockeye offense. It seems like when the first option isn't there, they've got a lot of things to do, and it's a lefty backhand to Montague for the score.
And again, I think the marks of a really strong offense are the ability to find the middle of the field and attack from there. You just have so many more options. It's so much harder for the defense to take everything away than if they've got you pinned on one side of the field or the other. Again, not that you won't see large number of scores at either end of the cone, attacking on that kind of uphill or downhill slant, but man, always so impressive when you do see a team able to score in the middle.
So any first half thoughts or final first half thoughts there? What surprised you so far?
Frankly, not much. You know, I love this level of play. Strong offense. Again, the defense is creating some opportunities, not able to capitalize on them yet. Yeah, really looking forward to the second half. This is a great final.
Yeah, we'll be back here at U.S. Open final for second half action.
There is a place where we are us at our best.
A place where everyone is welcome.
Regardless of age, shape, skin color, or anything else that tries to box people in.
A place where we defy the odds, defy the naysayers,
and even defy gravity.
A place where it's accepted that success
doesn't belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave, to the determined.
A place that knows grit, knows grace, knows bright lights, and knows empty bleachers.
a place where we remember to laugh,
where we learn to trust,
learn to high-five strangers,
and eventually even learn to fly.
a place where character, community, and competition
are all as balanced as a disc in flight.
That place isn't in a stadium or on a field.
That place is is in the spirit of our players.
Because we don't just play Ultimate, we live Ultimate.
And welcome back here to Blaine, Minnesota, inside the National Sports Center. As we see the weather right there, Kelsey, it is an 8-7 final currently with Sockeye up over Chicago Machine. And
yeah, thank you, media team, for that little bit of forecast.
On serve.
Yep, on serve. So again, high power offenses. We knew this coming in. The consistency of both teams, their ability to just put their defense back out there again and again has been something we've seen all tournament. So now it's this, early season, whose defense can really find their legs, create their opportunities, take things away, which again, when you've got these high-powered, high-efficiency offenses, you pick what do you take away, and maybe you shift that, find out what's going to be most effective, keep them on their heels, don't let them get comfortable.
And I think the best advantage here for both sides is that they have to practice against themselves in a high-powered offense. So their D-lines are used to, an elite level of offense. But it's just a matter of picking out those matchups and those things that you see and trying to take away something at this point.
And quite frankly, exactly to your point, both of these teams known for quick movement. Winning things with their legs, creative throws, really sharp angles of throws. And so defense used to having to adjust and react to that. If you were to speculate at this point, where do you expect to see these teams hashing out on the national scene?
Yeah, I think this could potentially be, a final here in the national stage. I mean, definitely could see these guys going to at least the semifinals. Both of these teams, two of the top teams in the country.
Yeah, missing a couple. Definitely missing some some California presence here. A couple other big teams. Ring of Fire, obviously not present here, and that's a team with a big engine as well. But both teams showing a very strong mental game.
Nice backhand around. See the Keegan North inside to Joe White.
Yeah, playing through a little bit of contact there.
White surveying. A very dangerous throw across the field.
Yeah, again, that crosswind just making it hang there for that fraction of a second. But able to maintain control. Finding Shanahan.
Oh, very close to travel.
There by Shanahan. Watch Giannis.
And
Joe White airs it out.
On Joe White, but just a little too much there in the end zone, trying to find Keegan North.
And he had an open Keegan North, but again, like you said. I think that is a Sockeye player going out.
Subbing out for Sockeye.
Yeah,
so they will bring Trent Dillon in.
Did not get the right amount of hang time to Joe White on that backhand cross field.
Yeah, I think a little flatter. Keegan North doesn't have anyone on him that can make that play. I think it's his. But most of these teams really favoring those sharper, more acute angles on those throws, more precise throws until they're not precise.
It's Ben Snell to pick up the disc here for Sockeye. It's a travel call here on Snell.
Travel call.
Choosing to go to the observer.
Just going back to Snell.
Observer will uphold the travel.
Some more talking there about the call, and we'll be back in play. Tight defense on the mark there by Joe White.
Oh,
a miscommunication.
And will this be it? This is an almost red zone opportunity.
So unforced error there by Sockeye in the band zone.
Machine offense able to get it back.
Travel will be called, I believe, on Bansfield.
Coming in on 3.
Bansfield is kicking north, dancing. That one's Blady in a tight window.
Making space for the around. We'll go around to Arders.
Arders, a couple of fakes, a high release backhand by Bansfield. Called for a travel once again. Just dragging that back foot a little too much.
Players very active, both on the marks and also in attempting to move the marks, making these opportunities. Woo!
And a nice little shimmy fake there from Giannis, able to free up for the score.
Yeah, sweet little shot around that break side and able to attack the cone. Well done by Machine.
Take a second look at that. You know, just not able to handle.
Through the fingertips.
That's one you want back there if you're Declan Miller, the youngster.
Oh, and here we get the replay of the point itself. Ooh, yeah, that's beautiful.
Just a little separation is all it needs there for Giannis to get the score. And knot us back up at 8 apiece.
On serve, no breaks. Here
Still
we go.
No breaks. Must be the theme of today. Just no breaks.
Quite frankly, this level of execution this early on in the season, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, if you had told me these players have had 18 to 20 months off, I would call you a liar. The way these offenses are just clicking right now.
You know, and again, not that they're not experiencing a high level of pressure. These defenses are clamping down. Maybe again a little less execution, but also a very high level of defense being shown from the offense on a turn.
Montague looking to break free. That was a late into the stall count. Now we see some more motion.
Yeah.
Here from Sockeye.
Bryce Dixon doing a lot to facilitate movement here in the middle of the field, but not hesitating to attack downfield, being very vocal. You see pulling the defense, opening up that far side of the field.
And a foul called. Looks like Shock and Montague are in the mix up.
See if Disc will stay.
Coming here on 1, downfield set on your ground tap.
So going to stay here with Sockeye on the far sideline and the free child. Series of fakes. Still needs an option.
Yeah, so Sockeye again just attacking. Yep, some contact there. And you get a little, think, impact knee to knee there. Always scary as an athlete. Graffy trying to pull up, but just a little too committed.
Hacked with the disc. Currently here for Sockeye. Oh, a nice Blady crossfield throw. Good hands there by Freechild. Freechild frantically looking for some help. Finds Montague.
Just knocking on the gates here of the end zone. Heck takes
Inches
free.
away. And will get it in there to D.Y. Chen. 9-8. Sockeye.
Yeah, and I thought Hecht had it there. You definitely saw him with that big leapfrog, but the immediate not in, okay, throwing it anyways. Yeah, so again, pressure created. Not a lot to be changed. And again, these really high-powered offenses strong personnel matchups on defense. I think it is just a case of when you're getting those opportunities, how are you using them? There are these games where it's not big sets of runs and swings, where it is just this game of these micro decisions. And I think that these are, in some ways, some of the most exciting to watch, if not necessarily the most dramatic, but again, where it's this really high level of execution, where it is a game of inches, a game of just, errors that are in the low.
I mean, if you look at the score right now, Socceye's up 9-8. But if you think about it, the score could be 9-8 Machine, inches away from the end zone right there on a break. So
yeah, definitely the best look they've had so far this game.
Oh, a dropped pull there from Machine is going to be costly.
Oh,
and now just
dangerous,
couple yards
opportunity
here for Sockeye to get the first break of the game.
And this is such a tough space if you're a Machine to be in. It's right here. Ooh.
That's a dangerous pass.
Don't think it was intended for that player. He was able to pick it up.
Now working it back around. Scalan now switching the field into Garrett Martin. Back to Garrett Martin, and there's the first break of the game. 10-8 Sockeye over Machine.
Ooh, and that is how quickly it can change. And that's so frustrating. Again, the strength and beauty of those really big, high-arcing, high-speed pulls is you've got to field them. And if you have a little bit of a gust of wind, the smallest lapse of attention, and there you are, red zone opportunity for Sockeye.
So 10-8 is the score currently.
And this is where, if you're Sockeye, you just want to pour it on right here. You really, if I'm Sockeye, I'm calling a kill line.
Yeah, you can't take the foot off the gas. Here, if you're Sockeye, you got to continue adding to it, because if you let this Machine team back into this game, it could be something dangerous.
So no real personnel changes from Machine. It looks like Victor Luo, they will be subbing Nico Lake in. And yeah, that's tough. If you're Victor Luo, you want back on the field. You want a chance to shake that off. But if you're Machine in the finals this close, you maybe want a player that's not having to fight through that. Give them a chance to just take a breath, reset, and then get back out there. Yeah, very unusual error for Victor Luo. Incredibly consistent player.
The hang time there on that pull.
Ooh. Will land
in bounds.
Well done.
Great pull there from Christian Foster.
Yeah, I think the deepest upwind pull we've seen so far today. Definitely most hang time.
And Arders.
Finding Weiss on the outside, who fires up to White.
White has some options here. Keegan North streaking downfield. Arders.
Yeah, North really opening up that space.
And firing a dart. There to Keegan North right on the corner of the end zone as Machine gets one back.
Yeah, Machine not letting Sockeye take any of their momentum. That was a beauty of a response.
Yeah, very quick, and just like you said, if an offense is scoring in the end zone under 10 throws, that's just prolific offense. It's really efficient. And Arders, no hesitation, just laser right into the chest of Keegan North.
And one of my favorite things about watching Keegan North play is the space that he opens up for his teammates. He is such a threat. You can't look him off as a defense. You have to respond. And putting himself in position that as soon as the disc gets thrown, the defense is adjusting, trying to track the disc, and he's already in position for the next throw. There's fantastic vision and anticipation of the field.
So far, what you've expected out of these two teams?
In a lot of ways, yes. I will say I think I expected maybe a little more from the Sockeye defense. Again, they've been such a powerhouse, just really sort of handling their way through the Colorado Cup. So in a lot of ways, very impressed with the Machine team and the level of play and how they've been able to respond. And particularly if they're able to keep it tight, if they can earn a break back, that would be fantastic at this point.
Now looking for the around was Freechild. Nice under there from Trent Dillon. It's Hecht looking to continue.
Oh,
ooh, that was a
Graffy.
dangerous throw. Left it a little too short for Phil Murray.
Graffy able to put a lot of pressure there. Oh, and
Oh.
Graffy just a little on his heels, I think, thinking maybe about how close he had been on the previous, and his cutter didn't stop.
Phil Murray able to secure that one and add on to their lead. Back up 2 is Sockeye.
Yep, let's see if they give us the replay on this. And I think you will see Graffy just maybe looking like he's thinking a little bit. Here we go.
So this
Should be coming across field.
that's the score, last
Oh,
score
that's
for
the
Machine.
Keegan North.
And now here we go. Here's the look. Nice fake, a little late for
Yep,
for
see
Murray.
that little bit of contact, dishes it up. Yeah, so not quite seeing the play. Rewind your tape, look at it later. But again, good awareness and consistency from, it was number 6, Phil Murray. Yeah, so well done by Murray just to keep pouring it on, taking the opportunity of Graffy being a little bit distracted.
Yeah, there's a hesitation. Here
Just
for
that,
Graffy.
that one step. And when you're in that red zone in that corner, can't give it.
So Giannis. This myriad of fakes. Once, yeah, we need a Giannis counter on the fakes for sure. Coming from all different angles. Across to Arters. Floaty throw there to Joe White, and White needs some help. So far, just not enough downfield options for Machine. I believe a pick was called downfield.
So Joe White downfield for this point. Giannis well behind the disc. Interested to see where he goes next.
Keegan North
Woo!
uncorks to Joe White, and
Who is
he'll
there?
secure it with the one-hand snag and bring us back within 1.
Yeah, so again, execution. You put it within his reach, he's going to run it down, and so far no one's really been able to body play him up.
Like I said before, that Joe White is the Swiss Army knife of this Machine team, pretty much doing anything they ask him to do. Cut, throw, play defense, just whatever you need it, Joe White's going to get it done.
Yeah, so with this kind of gusting low-level wind, we're now going downwind on offense. You know, at any point do you switch and go back to more of that zone look? Both of these teams really seeming to favor that man defensive look instead. Really trusting their individual matchups and their personnel. And again, when you've got the depth of roster, we are seeing, I would say, maybe like a top 15 or so players, but
yeah, this is the part where they needed some of that decision making here on the defensive end. Does Machine. They want any chance of stopping the Sockeye team. They need a break right here. Dillon with the disc. Finding Montague.
And again, sitting Graffy back, doing a little bit of this almost like mop-up zone underneath, trying to take options away.
Scuber over the top. We'll find Janin. Still working it down the far sideline. Chen here with the disc.
Chen doing a very good job of finding, again, these pockets, these angled corners.
Into Freechild. And it looks like Machine is still kind of in that zone look, like you said. And around back to Freechild.
A lot of good containment from Machine here. Ooh, the angled shot. Montague pulls it in.
Still looking around, and they're knocking. A hammer bleeding into the corner. And right there is Gannon for the score, 12-10. Sockeye.
Yeah, there was no hover, no float to that. Graffy didn't have a play.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, if you're Machine, do you fire out of that sooner when you're getting that close? Did a good job of, kind of softening it up, but when you can laser an over-the-top throw like that, let's see if we get another look at this. Woo! There it goes.
Yeah, I've always been told it's so difficult to remain disciplined in a zone when it's that close to the end zone, and would have loved to see them break back in the man, but like you said,
you got to do it early. You can't wait that late.
You got to do it a lot earlier than that. They were committed, and that was just a pretty throw over the top of that zone.
Yeah, from a defensive perspective, when you get that close to an end zone, quite frankly, it's a place where you might as well take risks. Because at that point it favors the offense so much. The strongest advantage to the defense is how compressed everything's getting, that there is literally less yardage that you have to cover, but then the entire width of the end zone, like any inch of that can be where the team gets you.
I think another cool spot right there, you see multiple teams staying to watch the final, getting to see this high-level teams play here in this final between Sockeye and Machine. And that's a little bit different here in the Ultimate community. In some other sports, a lot of other sports, they won't stay around after. They'll just leave with their team once they're eliminated or out.
And for anyone that hasn't joined us earlier on today or yesterday, what we did just do was a heat advisory timeout. So again, that brief stoppage at points 4 and 12 in addition to the halftime. Again, not because we're at a super high temperature degree, but just the level of humidity today has been very high. So really looking after the safety of the players.
So now is the time, I think, if Machine were to come back in this game, it has to be now, because right now Sockeye's feeling it.
You don't wait till game point.
And they're 3 points away from it currently. So.
Yeah, and if you're Sockeye, if you're able to get one more break, at that point, again, it becomes this insurmountable mountain for the other team, just because your window keeps getting smaller and smaller. I agree. I think the offense for Machine needs to put this away, and then the defense has to find that opportunity. So, out of curiosity, we've seen some very downwind and then very upwind. not a lot of change, very minimal. Minimal breaks, minimal kind of flipping back and forth on that. What are you enjoying more, the upwind or the downwind points?
I'd probably say the downwind. I mean, nothing like being able to huck something downwind, but at the same time, defensively, I think your looks change a lot when you're going against the wind. So I think downwind points are definitely a favorite of mine.
I'd almost, and someone check me on this, but I'd almost say they had more huck looks going upwind.
Yeah.
I think almost because they could air it out freely. You get players this advanced, and they quite frankly can pull it back the end zone every time. It becomes more about that precision.
It's Keegan North, the first cut, and he'll send one deep.
Weiss.
And that's a pretty look.
Well in stride.
Well timed, and they're back within one, making it a ball game.
Now, Weiss, one of the many tools in the arsenal of this Machine. And again, if you're Sockeye, you've got the point up. Maybe you don't need to respond, but at any point, do you kind of camp someone out? Where's your help defense on that? Because that's yards. He's open by yards there.
Yeah, that's a very good point that needs to be more help. And like you said, and that was 3 throws.
Because think if it goes the other way. Think if Machine does have that, you need the response. Again, Sockeye with the luxury of being up a break at this point in the game. But yeah, as you're not just looking at this tournament, you're not just thinking about, okay, winning the U.S. Open, you're thinking about nationals. You're thinking the long game if you're Sockeye. You're always thinking the long game. You're not even just thinking about this year, you're thinking about next year and the year after that. So again, I think a couple, really 2 easy scores with Joe White and Jeff Weiss as well. Curious to see how Sockeye responds to those in future tournaments.
And for Machine right here on the D-line, I know not many new faces, but would this be a time where you would maybe plug some O-line players there on your D-line, maybe change some things up?
Maybe look for a little bit more consistency on a turn.
Yeah.
Again, got to get the turn first, but could be. Not seeing it. I'm with you. I think they've got a true D-line airing it out. Trent Dillon.
Just back to back. No. It literally looked like the same play. The Machine drew up a quick score and quick throw deep, and just wide open by yards the last 2 scores.
And that is the jets that Trent Dillon can bring to bear. Again, early shots. These are coming before the half mark. Before the defense can really get down there and gum it up. Maybe that's where Chicago wants to go back into that formation where they put Graffy in the back and try and take that away. I think they were doing a little better when they were playing that position versus the true man.
And that's a pretty throw there by Mac Hectus. A nice angle. Just came in a nice blade, stride for stride there with Trent Dillon.
No hanging, did never shoot. Well done.
13-11 is the score. 2 away now for Sockeye.
So a lot of expectation here for the offense, for Machine to just kind of punch it in. But yeah, their defense needs to be on the sideline, getting hyped up, getting focused. Got a small window in which they can really make a difference here. Good to see Victor Luo back out on the field, receiving the pull. Up to Giannis. A little bit slow down on the pull was the Sockeye defense.
Pick was called downfield.
So I am seeing some man defense, but what you'll also see is maybe some strategic poaching or bracketing here, particularly off the back of these cutters. For example, no one really tightly manning Keegan North at the moment, though he is off screen.
Harders thought about a deep shot. He's an outlet. Some good movement there to Howe.
This Machine, threw some contact there.
That's very close to a dangerous play there. It could have really injured Joe White. He clipped him from behind.
An apology from the Sockeye player. They'll be walking it back up. And I think, again, just that little bit of scary of feeling your feet come out from under you.
And there you do see the card there for Matt Russell. And the TMF issued the Sockeye.
The Machine offense playing very deep right now. But again, creating the space underneath that they like on attacking. These unders resetting to White.
Good flow motion right there. And dangerous, but able to connect is Weiss, once again bringing us back within 1 goal.
And Weiss has a big frame. You put him in that, he squared his shoulders. The defender doesn't have space to go around.
And the only way you're going around is if you go through him, which would be a foul. So once again, another nice hold there from the Machine's O-line.
Yeah, I think other than the stoppage there, again, good solid possession. Again, can their defense respond? Really needing that break if they're going to get back in this game at all. Only 2 points left to play. Well, we will see more than 2 points most likely. But again, 2 points for Sockeye for them to take this game.
Yep. No difference there in that D-line here for Machine.
Though I will say this is just looking at the personnel, we might see a zone look from them. Maybe they were listening in. But again, looking at their personnel, if you're looking at Von Allen, you're looking at Walden, those are the guys that are so good about being heads up, explosive in that underneath space that Sockeye really likes to attack.
Pull with a lot of hang time.
Yep, shot hustling down, getting an early mark.
Hex thought about unleashing one.
Yeah. Graffy really holding up, again, taking away that deep space. But Sockeye able to find the middle, find the poach.
Still working around now, Dylan.
Yeah.
Montague gonna cut deep. Not gonna get it this time.
Yeah, that was a good body up, though. Pushing underneath, getting his defender to commit a step. Ooh, taking the inside.
High release backhand. A little break side. Need some options. Some give and goes. Good work and movement here from Sockeye. Not looking rushed whatsoever.
Yeah, Sockeye's pulling 3 or 4 guys out, but there is Freechild.
Another hammer there from Mac Hex for the score. 14-12. Sockeye. One more there.
Yeah,
game point.
If I'm Machine, I'm a little annoyed with that. I do think that was potentially a missed assignment. They might have been bracketing either end. See if we can see what the defense is doing here. Yeah, you can see Graffy kind of stepping out, and I think, yeah, that might have been Graffy's man, might have belonged to someone else. But again, I think a bit of a missed assignment there in end zone. They were looking to take away some option, instead giving Sockeye the perfect target.
I think that's what we saw Johnny Bansfield talking about. He said, pointing at Graffy there, asking him where he was on his man. So,
game point.
Game point.
Game point finals, U.S. Open, Blaine, Minnesota.
I mean, Machine, it's now or never here for them. They've got to punch it in here on the offense, and a much needed break to say they still have a chance in this game. But got to score first here on offense. Christian Foster to pull here for Sockeye. Probably looking to pin them back very deep. See, unleashes one. That one will tail out of bounds.
Oof. Yeah, first fully out of bounds pull we've had in a while. So some good field position for Machine here.
Giannis will start the offense here for Machine, as like he usually does.
Yeah, looking Joe White off the back. Keegan North coming under, but they are forcing backhand. So Sockeye, again, forcing backhand to that space, really looking to slow things up, I think stop the set play.
It's a lot of help poaching defense there from Sockeye.
Yeah, Nico to Arders finding Joe White on the outside.
Back to Giannis.
And the Machine offense stacked really deeply downfield.
Keegan North, a hammer cross field. That one's hanging in the air, and Ben Snell will get the D.
Yeah, not the best look we've seen from Machine, but they were a little stagnant at that point. Again, I think they're stacking it up just too far downfield and really lost its tempo.
So an opportunity here for a break for
Sockeye could wrap up the game right
Sockeye
here.
And call game. Now Russell, big fakes, and around backhand on the break side.
Yeah.
Still working it, and back to Russell. Veneri.
Yeah, a bit of an almost flat mark. Oh, and Sockeye calls the timeout.
Snell, veteran timeout right there. Talk things over with a chance to call game here at conclusion of the timeout.
And first timeout called from this half, definitely an excellent time to use one. But this, teams that have been so trusting of both their O and D lines, not really relying on those timeouts to execute the plays, instead just letting them play through, use their legs, use their conditioning. Again, the only missed throw I've really seen from Keegan North today, player was there, but I think just hung up a little higher than he was wanting, right into the hands of Ben Snell.
Yeah, I think he wanted that one to kind of cut through the air and kind of blade in. But that one just, like I said, got flat and just stayed in the air. You see Joe White amping up his team there. Saying we have to get this disc back.
Yeah, this is make or break for Chicago right here. Ben Snell with the disc. Joe White giving him a little bit of a snuggle before the disc gets called in.
Snell taps it in. Center to Russell. Ooh, dangerous there in the middle of the field.
Kozak back to Russell.
Still working around. There's Quan. Back to Russell again, very close to the end zone, and that's the game.
And there it is.
Snell calls it. 15-12 is your final score. And 2021 U.S. Open champions, Seattle Sockeye.
Seattle Sockeye are your winners. 15-12. Ooh. Yeah, and it just, again, by the second half almost feels inevitable, but what a showing from Chicago Machine.
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, it was on serve for the majority of this game. Just could not get it to go defensively. Was Machine, could not get a break they need, and Sockeye just poured it on there at the end.
Yeah, and if you're Snell, that's such a good cap. Again, only 2 breaks, both of them going to Sockeye, both of them here in the second half. And again, game of inches.
Yeah.
Game of, small choices, execution, high level of play. If you're out there, thanks for joining us here for this U.S. Open final here in Blaine, Minnesota. Really excited to see, again, this is early days, especially for a COVID year. These are early days, and really excited to see where the ceilings of these teams are. Looking forward to some high-level competition for the rest of the year.
Any final thoughts here from the U.S. Open, the men's division?
I honestly expect to see both of these teams as contenders. Honestly, both of them, I think, have very good chances making it definitely to the semis, again, potentially to the finals as we go on. A lot of high-level teams out there. I think a lot of parity within the league. As you're looking at the year as a whole, players that got a chance to rest up, get strong, and just as well as players who maybe took too much time off and now are having to get back in it. But I think you're seeing that top tier talent and teams really took the opportunity. Oh, and Machine running. Y'all can't see it, but we're down here on the field. Machine running sprints. Exercising their frustration, saying, we've got more to give. We will always have more to give. We will fight harder next time.
So thanks for staying tuned here in the Ulti World. The final score, 15-12. Seattle Sockeye coming on top over Chicago Machine here in the U.S. Open final. And on behalf of Kelsey, Percy, I'm Adekale Ande, and we wish you a great evening. Stay tuned tomorrow for some more YCC action.